rates, you'd see markets down, you'd see everybody panicking about that. The fact that they kicked their can down the road, the fact that conservatives are getting wins in the negotiations to cut spending is actually making businesses feel a little better because they think that Congress has finally understood that what it's been doing has been a giant burden on every business, every household in America. That instability matters astronomically more than whether the government stays open or not.
All right, Richard Stern, appreciate your insight this evening. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me on.
Now to the latest in the battle for life. The Supreme Court was back in session today, and one case they've been asked to take up is whether to reverse a lower court's ruling that, were it allowed to go into effect, would severely restrict access to the abortion pill. Most abortions in the U.S. are now chemical abortions carried out using the pill mifepristone. And Thursday on Capitol Hill, Representative Andy Ogles of Tennessee introduced proposed legislation banning the abortion pill nationwide. Congressman Ogles joins us now. Congressman, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
Okay, so your legislation would ban mifepristone nationwide. The FDA declares that their pill is very safe. However, you have serious concerns about some of the side effects that we're seeing in women who are taking this pill right now.
Well, absolutely. And in fact, I spent some time with a doctor this weekend talking about this very subject and what, their take on it is that, one, the approval for this drug was rushed, and so there's more study that needs to be done. And then look at the data itself. You have 1 in 5 women who takes this drug has side effects, has complications. Some of them resulting in emergency room visits, and there have even been complications that led to death. And so this is a drug that's being administered oftentimes without a doctor's visit. You have a woman or a young girl that's taking this drug alone. And if they have a complication, it literally can lead to death. And, what we suggest is let's ban this drug. More study needs to be done. And then you have the next conversation. But as it stands now, look, I'm a proponent for life. I think this is a bad idea. It's a bad drug. But what drove the approval for this drug wasn't science. It was an agenda, which was to kill life. And look, I'm a father who's buried one of my children. I know what it's like to lose a life. And I can tell you that all life is precious and these drugs are dangerous.
So we know the FDA has already been handed several lawsuits, specifically on mifepristone. We expect the Supreme Court may take up at least one of these cases this session. Considering we saw SCOTUS overturn Roe just last year, how do you think that they'll rule on one of these cases?
Well, that's a great question. And obviously, it really depends on the merits of the case. But, I'm cautiously optimistic that this court, with its conservative leaning attitudes of late, that it will preserve and life and uphold the ruling for life. And so there's this opportunity. And look, at the end of the day, you're talking about young girls. This disproportionately really impacts and targets the impoverished who can't necessarily afford proper doctor's care. And so this is a bad idea. It's being abused and misused. We've got to get it off the streets. We've got to get it off the market. And again, that's why I introduced the legislation. And quite frankly, when you look at the data, keep in mind, 1 in 5 has some sort of adverse effect. And some have resulted in deaths. This is dangerous, folks, because any other drug, around any other issue, it would already have been pulled. But because it supports their agenda, which is to destroy life, to take life, and to destroy the family, that's why they're looking the other way.
On a very different note, Congressman, a lot of drama on Capitol Hill over the weekend and today. Your colleague, Congressman Matt Gaetz, who has his own ethics battle going on, is threatening a motion to vacate Speaker McCarthy for working with Democrats in order to avert a government shutdown over the weekend. If a motion to vacate is put on the floor, will you vote to oust Speaker McCarthy from his speakership?
Yeah, again, another great question. Look, I'm as frustrated as anyone. I was one of the 20 that held up the Speaker's fight, and we fought for the rules package. We promised America that we would pass 12 appropriations bills and that we would be done by September 30th. And then in July, instead of staying here in D.C. and finishing our work, staying in August, we were sent home. And so now what you have is this continuing resolution. But that being said, I think a motion to vacate is premature. I think we owe the American people. So of those 12 appropriations bills. We've only passed 4. We need to finish the other 8. And look, in the last 50 years, roughly 4 times in history, the last time being 1997, so 26 years ago, was the last time that Congress followed law and actually passed all 12 appropriations bills. This is ridiculous. We have to change the way this place functions, and we have to pass those bills. And I don't want anything at all to distract us from passing the remaining 8 bills. So I'll be a no vote on the motion to vacate.
All right, well, we'll be following this very closely. Congressman Andy Ogles, appreciate your time this evening.
Yes, ma'am, and God bless.
God bless you. And when we come back, we'll take a look at the disturbing news that Disney has greenlit a drama about